Lesson 9. Infinite Intelligence, the Great Magician. When you realize that time and space are but a dream, you live suspended in the moment, and time can never touch you. Magic and miracle come from the same root word. It is a good thing to go see a magician once in a while, to get the realization of things coming suddenly from apparently nowhere. Of course, with the magician, it is a trick. Out of his hat come rabbits and ducks. Out of his sleeve, a bowl of goldfish. Now we must get the realization that with infinite intelligence, the seemingly impossible can come to pass. The universal power, the great magician, changes a curse into a blessing, despair into joy, lack into plenty, sickness into health, etc. There is no limit to the good that God has prepared for man. Only doubt or unbelief shuts off the power within each man. However, faith turns the power on again, so it is necessary to do everything to develop faith in that power. Sometimes a new affirmation or a new idea will suddenly give you the realization, which is manifestation. In one of my classes, I explained that it was necessary to become as a little child in order to be a good demonstrator and bring in the element of play. Then I said, let us look upon the universal power as the great magician and draw out of his hat whatever we desire or require. This eliminates all questioning as to the channel. We see simply the giver of the gift. One man present was in the real estate business, and a few days afterward, he was asked by his firm to locate a 7-story building in a certain district for a client. It seemed impossible to find just what he wanted, and he became discouraged. Then he thought of the great magician's hat. He closed his eyes and said, I now draw from the great magician's hat the right 7-story building and the right location. Very soon after that, he walked into the building that was suitable in every way. Be wide awake to your good, and let every event of the day teach you something. For example, I had taken my watch to the jeweler's to be repaired, and after waiting a month it was returned, but lost 10 minutes a day. I felt a little annoyed. When putting it on my wrist, it fell out of my hand onto the hardwood floor. I was meek and non-resistant by this time, and exclaimed, I baptize it success. See the chapter called The Law of Non-Resistance in the Game of Life and How to Play It. I baptize it success. I picked it up and it was still ticking, so I put it on and went out. The following day it was ticking away quite normally, and much to my surprise, kept perfect time. In falling, it had become regulated. So if you have a bump of any kind, know you are being regulated, and you'll come out of it much improved. The person who resists and resents will have to be regulated many times. Your supply is always with you, as it is prepared long beforehand. The following is a good statement. Reveal to me the great magician's storehouse. I now use the field glasses of the Spirit. Make believe you have the spiritual field glasses, which bring faraway blessings very near. With these field glasses, you see avalanches of checks, bills, and currency. You see health, happiness, success, etc. Do not visualize. Let the divine ideas flash into your conscious mind. You are now linking with your invisible supply, which manifests on the external, through the consciousness of having received. Worry, doubt, and fear blur your spiritual field glasses. They must be continually cleaned with fresh inspiration and faith. Maybe a friend's faith in you will give you faith in yourself. There is always some way of being recharged, like a battery, and suddenly the divine plan will unfold right at your feet, for the ground you are on is harvest ground. All unhappiness comes from not being able to see clearly your good. So, if assailed by doubts and fears, do something immediately to show your faith. A woman came to me to speak the word for her perfect home. She was living in a small room in a hotel. She was discouraged, so I told her to dig a ditch. See the chapter called The Law of Prosperity in the Game of Life and How to Play It. To do something to show faith. She returned one day with a long package. She said to me, "Bless it." I asked, "What is it?" She replied, "A carving knife. It's something I have no use for in a hotel." So her active faith, which is preparation, opened the way for her divinely designed home. Life is an arena where you prove infinite intelligence as your defense and your deliverance, and your immediate and endless supply of all good. If you say you are going to do a thing and then do not attend to it, it will be done for you violently when you least expect it. For example, I had a ribbon belt on a dress with long streamers that ended in tassels. One streamer, I thought, was too long, and I said repeatedly, "I must shorten that tassel." I never got around to it, as they say in the country. And one day I was climbing to the top seat of a bus when I felt a jerk and a rip. I looked down and the tassel had been torn off, making it just the length I intended to have it. It was an unimportant experience, but it taught me not to say I was going to do a thing and then not do it. Despise not the day of small things. A woman told me the following story, roving the reality of her invisible supply. It was in the early spring. She wanted some apple blossoms and started out in her car to go to the nearest farmer. She went to one after another, being told by each farmer that it was too early in the season for apple blossoms. Undiscouraged, she made a final attempt. She drove up to the next farmhouse to ask and had the same reply. She looked over at the orchard and exclaimed, "Why, there are blossoms on one of those trees." The farmer replied, "Those blossoms came out after your arrival here." Trust in God, and the seemingly impossible will come to pass. I knew a man who at 60 was bankrupt, and at 76 was making $30,000 a year. He said his success came after he stopped worrying, which was after he was bankrupt. His new ships of success came in over an unworried sea. Time will register in your body and affairs so long as you believe in it. When you realize that time and space are but a dream, you live suspended in the moment, and time can never touch you. This is the consciousness of those who have become ascended masters. He had overcome the thought world of lack, limitation, and death itself, and made the ascension. It was because he had the unshakable conviction that the infinite intelligence within accomplished the work. He taught this to his disciples and the people. He did not claim any more for himself than he did for others. After 2,000 years, we realize the amazing simplicity of his teachings. I have often said that most people look too closely for their demonstrations, trying to force a channel or speculate upon the results of every move. There are 3 simple rules for taking every trick in the game of life. Speak the word, follow your hunches, and dig your ditches. You will then be kept busy living with the wonderful now and won't limit the universe by looking to channels. In one of my classes, we brought up the old proverb, "The watched pot never boils." One of the students said, "We should have a whistling tea kettle, which does not have to be watched. When it boils, it whistles for you. So it is with your demonstration. It will whistle for you when it is ready, and when you are ready for it." Many people are asking for conditions that they would not be big enough to handle. You have to grow up to your demonstration. Your heart's desire is ripe, but you are green. I have known women who were filled with doubt, fear, and suspicion ask for perfect love and companionship. It would appear in their lives for a short time, and then be tragically ended, for the old fears and suspicions were stronger than love and faith. Your good must be built upon the rock of fearless faith. Ideals will be made real if held without wavering. It is useless to say we have faith and then act to the contrary. Action impresses the subconscious, and if you run away from a situation, it will run after you. The only way you can neutralize fear is to walk up to the thing that you are afraid of. Self-pity is one of the deadly sins. Poor me is the worst affirmation you can make, as it cuts you off from the power within, and you will have more and more reasons for pitying yourself. I give the example of a woman who came to me, feeling she was neglected and left out of all the good things in life. I gave her the affirmation, "There is nothing too good for me." She repeated it hundreds of times, and suddenly conditions commenced to change. Kind and influential friends came into her life, and new opportunities for success and prosperity opened. Later, she was given the desire of her heart, which was to go abroad and study music. Bruce Barton says, "There is danger in being sorry for yourself. Return to that infinite intelligence, the great magician, for I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert."